Hello, and welcome back to Let's Replay Mystery Case Files 13th Skull. I'm MCFPapa, and this is part number 9. And we're talking with Mrs. Lawson yet again.
What do you mean no one's heard of my missing husband? I've posted signs around town, and it's all over the paper. Marcus wouldn't have simply wandered off and left my daughter and I alone. It was his idea to move here in the first place. I'm sure those crazy locals had something to do with it.
Oh, really?
That crazy neighbor of ours. He fires his gun at anything that moves. How do I know he didn't attack Marcus? Have you met the lowlifes at that bar? That dive bar down by the river? Don't tell me that place isn't full of criminals. I'm beginning to wonder if that couple we hired isn't behind all this. There's something shady about them. I can't put my finger on it, but I've seen the way she looks at me. I thought we were doing them a favor by giving them jobs and letting them stay in the carriage house. I would appreciate it if you would quit running all these little errands and get to the bottom of things.
Okay, sheesh. Sarah Lawson's reaction to the news that no one has seen her missing husband quickly sent her into an accusatory rage. Within moments, she turned from dejected wife and mother to distrustful victim, sending blame in several directions. The neighbors and townsfolk came under early attack before Mrs. Lawson settled aim on Mary and Louis Lee. Without sharing my findings about Mary Lee's interest in voodoo, Mrs. Lawson, like the Landrys before her, described feeling suspicious of Mrs. Lee. Sarah Lawson commented on the curious music emanating from the carriage house, prior to criticizing my failure to deliver more clues on the matter. I shall head back outside and confront Louis Lee about taking a look inside the carriage house. There certainly seems like quite a few more journal entries in this game compared to like Dire Grove and that.
Looks like that rain's here to stay this evening. How goes the investigation, detective? The dark magic is not something I recommend fooling with, detective. You best be keeping an eye out for the missing Mr. Lawson. And keep the other eye off me and my wife. That includes peeking round the corner where we're staying. That carriage house is going to stay locked. I told you everything I know, and you best be respecting our privacy. Well, I don't believe in ghosts, but that place makes me uneasy. Funny you ask, though. The only time I seen it open was the morning after Mr. Lawson disappeared. You can't be thinking that some ghost come out of his grave and went after him. Well, I never did actually unlock that gate, but I know where one of the keys is hiding. I suppose I could lend it to you, but I need you to help me with something first. All this rain is making these weeds grow faster than I can get rid of them. How about you grab a pair of them garden shears and clip all them weeds along the side of the house?
Oh boy, more and more errands to do. Mr. Weed became quite defensive when pressed for information about his wife's beliefs, before leveling a not-so-subtle threat to refrain from further exploration of the carriage house. Impeding my investigation does little to inspire confidence in the man, as I too grow more suspicious of him and his wife. I've opted to postpone my examination of the carriage house in favor of having a look inside the graveyard. Here, surprisingly, Mr. Lee offered a helping hand by pointing me in the direction of a graveyard key, but not before doing him a favor. Have none of these people heard of Southern hospitality? With that, I'm off to clip some weeds. Yeah, now, I think the orange are the fastest ones. Yeah. You just gotta be pretty quick, because they'll eventually come back, and I think it's orange fastest, then I honestly can't remember if it's purple or white that's fastest before. But by the way, there's another hint for the solution to the piano puzzle. So, I don't know if maybe originally you were supposed to only use this as your hint for the solution, because it is randomized, the order, but then they decided to change it to make it easier to know.
See what I mean about them weeds? It's like they got a mind of their own. That key I was telling you about's in a tin on the top shelf in the shed. If I was you, I'd be leaving that graveyard alone.
Hey, now we can finally explore here, get a crown insignia and the 4th key, so we can finally get in. And the way into the graveyard is through this thing. So, star down, double diamond up, moon down, triangle down. And it's totally randomized, the solution for the keys. They can be diagonal too. So star down, diamond up, moon down, and triangle down. I've never seen them all be straight like that. Huh. Pretty interesting. But hey, now we can go in the graveyard finally. And there's Ashwin Poncer's mausoleum. Nothing else really of note except for this, but we don't need to worry about that quite yet. A mausoleum entitled Poncer 1812 was no doubt erected for the estate's original owner, Ashwin Poncer, almost 2 centuries ago. The stone coffin's cracked lid would suggest recent activity, yet I can find no clues to demonstrate anyone's presence for several ages. Ooh, it must be a ghost, then. During this time, the uncovered coffin has had ample time to collect a floating menagerie of rotting fauna. I'm sure there's something in there, but I'm not excited about looking for it. Another unique fixture within the crypt is an elaborate stone carving on the wall above the coffin. An intricate engraved skull surrounded by 4 coin-sized slots, but only 1 coin still remains. This looks similar to the other contraptions I've encountered about the estate. I'll wager there are 3 lost coins buried somewhere nearby, but how would I find them? There's another crown insignia, though, here. And even though, like, most of this stuff has aged pretty well, like, in its looks graphically, like, especially, like, the coffin and the skate and such. Like, I always thought the candles looked pretty fake and such. I guess you really can't do melding candles that well. If only there was a matchbook to light a lantern. Huh. But hey, we can slot in the 3 coins we dug up. And there's this familiar insignia again. But the puzzle here is to just drag the chain and then move the coins so they're pointing to the whatever's gold. I'm pretty sure this is randomized too. So much in this game is actually randomized. Now I don't actually need to do this one, but I want to do it. So, there. And the skull opens up. And reveals half a medallion. Interesting. And now here, there's all this junk which you can drag around, and even has some physics to it. But all you need to do is just clear out the 4 corners to use the wrench on to unscrew the bolts. Though surely unscrewing one of the bolts would cause the thing to drain. I don't know why you specifically need to unscrew all 4 of them. I wonder if you can just... No, I guess you actually do need to clear it off first. I was trying to see if you could just unscrew them without actually clearing it off. But hey, it drains the coffin some. And here's yet another crown insignia. And now, year of my birth, year of my death, year of the blaze, year home rebuilt. So we look, original owner died in 1812, so we need to find 1812 on here. I think this is always the same. I don't think it's... Like, I know the years are always the same, but I think the layout is also always the same. So, 1733. Oh, there it is. And then 1806, the year of the blaze, and then well, I'll show it off. You gotta flip back some more. For 1808, the year it was rebuilt. I don't know, it might actually be randomized a bit. The number location. Get a load of that animation of the doors opening. Oh boy. Now here it's cool because you can climb the stairs just by going back like that, or by actually going up like that. Ashwin Ponser is on the lock. And first order of business is to make Rowena Spinch. Why, you may ask? For another golden crown insignia, of course. But what you're really supposed to do is solve the puzzle of the anagram. I wonder whose name Ashwin Ponser is an anagram of. Oh, wow. Who would have thunk that Ashwin Ponser and Phineas Crown are the same person? And we get this parchment. I made a major breakthrough beneath the mausoleum. A chest fastened with a lock that displays the name Ashwin Ponser rests on the watery floor of a hollowed-out cave. Finding Ponser's name on his belongings within the tomb made complete sense, but when I began rearranging the letters on the lock, I made a startling discovery. The name Ashwin Ponser is an anagram of Phineas Crown. This proves the manor was built by the famous pirate. Marcus was really on to something. After the revelation provided by the lock, the chest's contents are considerably less interesting. After digging through a pile of straw, I only found a single aged sheet of parchment. So this is a very important piece of parchment. The canvas is so thick we need to use the garden shears to break it open. And then just smash through with the pickaxe. Okay. Now, there's a coffin lid that refuses to release its grip. What you need to do is use the hammer on it. And I always get so nervous there, because the very first time I played this game, this coffin lid glitched out and I couldn't actually progress because it wouldn't let me open it. So I could never get the tea from the thing. And so I just had to start over from the beginning. Of course, in hindsight, I now know that I could have probably completed it even without the other T. But back then I was a silly little kid, I didn't know any better. Well, I wasn't that little, I was 13 or so when I first played this, but I was still silly. And I still am silly, for that matter. Isn't this a lovely, though, place for a hidden object scene? That's one thing with this game, is you have some pretty disgusting locations you're looking for stuff in. Unlike Dire Grove, which is like majestic and snowy and pretty in a lot of its scenes, here it's like waterlogged, dumpy sort of environments oftentimes. By the way, they really love themselves some harmonica in this game's soundtrack. Yeah, the murky water reeks of sewage. Huh. Who'd have thunk? Oh. First, move down the tunnel. There's no way through there. There might be a way through there. But I need to find a way to open the trap door. There ain't much here, except for one pretty well hidden can, but we can't open it. And now, remember the fountain where I used the chlorine to clear the water out? Now we finally get to use that code. So it's S Dolphin TI. That's it. Was it maybe an S in the opposite direction? I don't know. Here's yet another crown insignia. Almost got them all. And there are some goblets missing. There's one right here. But now that we got the third T shape, we can cut stuff here and then place them all. And finally do this puzzle. And the puzzle is simply fit all four of the T's on this square. So you just kind of do a little circle like that. And then we get some more map pieces. Yay! So now, only 2 map pieces missing yet. But first we gotta collect all the goblets. There's one way up here collecting dust. And hey, another hidden object scene here. Like, they do a pretty good job of, like, guaranteeing that you will backtrack to notice all the hidden object scenes in this game, you know? Unlike in Dire Grove, where you need to backtrack to the basement of the general store, despite there not being anything else there to do besides the hidden object scene. So, but given that, like, areas you backtrack to always have a hidden, almost always anyway, have, like, another hidden object scene in its area, it's so weird that the boats by the entrance to the swamp, which you revisit constantly passing through that area, doesn't have any extra hidden object scenes. I guess because you don't need the chlorine bottle until much later. I guess that's why they didn't do any additional ones there. Because they didn't want to, like, have two hidden object scenes stacked on top of each other. I guess, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, oh no, not to Cooter's place, but in the graveyard. And there. And we get another medallion half. And they still let you inspect that. I guess so you don't accidentally miss out on the crown insignia. So now we can climb up the stairs to see what's up there, but we'll do that in the next part. So, like and subscribe if you want. I'll see you then.